All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment, man. And boy, oh boy, we teased it a little bit earlier. We've been watching a lot of stuff, so we want to talk about our top 5 shows that we're currently watching. And I'm sure a lot of you know because we tweet back and forth, we talk about them all the time. We watch a lot of the same stuff. So, of course, there are going to be 2 duplicates because they're so dang good. There could have been more.
Oh, there could have totally been more.
We're trying to keep it easy. But I mean, number 5, we've talked about it multiple times. And I think, it just keeps getting better and better. Like, it's been on the air for what, 45 seasons? Something like that?
Yeah, this is 46, right? Like, so, yeah.
It's insane. We're talking about the one and only Survivor.
Yes.
Man, I mean, I love how this season specifically, like, the contestants are messing with Jeff more.
Yeah,
right? They're like poking fun at him. I think that's hilarious. But I've really been enjoying this season. It's been very interesting because it seems it's different. They try to change it up every season, but of course, there's a couple seasons span where things kind of feel the same, just with different people. But this season feels different than the last ones we've watched the past years, so it's been really entertaining.
It has been, and Jeff's playing right into that whole poking on him. He's calling him out now. You're going to be the first ones out, and, if I'm wrong, I'll own it, but I think that's how it's going to go. Or he's finally owning up that he owns the island, basically.
Yeah, right.
Because he said that in this last episode, he's like, I wouldn't invite you to my house and not give you popcorn. Yeah, because it is his fucking house. Exactly. The fucking tribal council and the sanctuary and all that's fucking his house. Like, when they get voted off, they get to go take a shower in his guest house. I guarantee you that's where they go. Because, fuck, man. This guy, for anybody who doesn't know, decided just up and over these 24 years that it's been on, at some point said, I really like this locale, and we're shooting it here from now on. And he lives there, and so, but I guess after 24 years, you can say whatever you fucking want to, and they're going to do it, right?
Well, what was it, a couple weeks ago, a couple episodes ago, he was like, I'm not going anywhere. So without Jeff, there is no Survivor. He's gonna be there for the duration of the entire show.
Totally, and he's having more fun than he ever has. That's what he said. And look, I saw too recently. They're asking him because coming up next year, they're going to hit the 50th season in 25 years, and they asked him, "What's the big thing? You guys got to have something massive for 50 seasons." And he's like, "We don't. We're talking about it, but none of us have a clue yet. We really legitimately don't know what we're going to do for season 50.
Right.
But I can only imagine it's going to be fucking epic. I mean, it's so good, though. Hunter, bro, what? You said the whole time you were going to take it out of your pocket. The whole fucking time. I'm going to play it no matter what. And then you got fucking Venus fucking spanked your ass. Oh, right. Have you watched this week's?
No.
Oh my goodness! Just wait. That little skinny boy, she played Hunter hard, man. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Our number 4. We were talking about this. Duh. It's a fucking amazing show. We love everybody that stars on it. It's a great cast. It's a great series. They have awesome guest stars coming in, and out, and it's amazing. We're talking about Tracker. If you guys don't know, it's basically about Justin Coulter Shaw has some shady shit that went on with his family. Okay, they were both professors, and then something happened that caused Dad to get all paranoid and go off grid. And he taught them how to survive off grid and all this kind of stuff. And then something happened with Dad. We think maybe the brother killed him, but we don't know. That's what they're hinting at. But anyway, so now he travels across the country finding missing people and using those survival skills to make a living or whatever. But I love it. I love the premise of going from state to state, town to town, and interweaving with different types of personalities and people. And he's got his clique, though. He's got Reenie, and he's got his boy, and so he's not alone. And he's got his two moms, I guess, or they're not his moms, but they serve as like a surrogate mother, if you will. I just love it. I love this type of a show because you get all this juicy, it's new every week, but then you also have the backstory that's procedural and carrying on. So you get a new locale and a new story every week, but you also get the procedural shit that I love when they do that. I love it.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's so much fun because, there is kind of like I guess you can follow the footsteps of the
Yeah.
episode. You kind of know how like the story part, the procedural part will play out sometimes. And the specifically the last couple weeks, I'm like, man, they haven't really touched a lot on his backstory here recently. But then you saw the casting of his sister, and then you saw the casting of his brother. You're like, oh, some good stuff is
Oh
coming
yeah.
up.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's some good stuff, man. It's definitely one because I feel like right now it's kind of hard to find shows that you can watch as a family and watch with, the whole grouping of people. And I mean, of course, it's like it's PG-13 basically. So it's
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
too crazy, but it's still, TV 14. It does it very well and very tastefully to where you're like, okay, this isn't bad. You don't have to turn it off when the kids come in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always appreciate those type of shows as well because there's so many good shows out there right now that kind of they do get a little risque to where you do have to kind of like ride the line of okay, pause, start, pause, start.
For
So
sure.
I'm
For
glad
sure.
that Tracker is one of those where you can just leave it on the whole time, right?
Yeah. Totally. And it's full of eye candy.
It is.
If we're
It's
just being
true.
honest, like everybody on the show is fucking attractive. Like it's
Beautiful.
ridiculous. It's Justin Hartley, Jensen Ackles, Fiona Renee. They're all fucking beautiful. Like so,
I
it's
know.
just it's a fun show. You want to watch. You tune in. You just feel good afterwards. Even when it's a story that's like about all kinds of bad shit, you still feel good when you're watching it. And so yeah, man, it's
It's
a great
true.
show. It's a great show.
I
Tracker, check it
completely
out.
agree.
It's the highest rated show
Yes.
on television right now. So
Yeah.
there you go. It's
Killing
kicking
it, man.
ass.
Number three for me goes to The Gentleman. That's on Netflix right now. I I'm just gonna be honest about it. Guy Ritchie is becoming like one of my he's at least in the top 10 right now because he's been putting out a lot of good stuff and
He
he's
has
been
been.
really steady recently. I mean, ever since the Gentleman movie that he put out a couple years ago, I've been like, okay, let's keep an eye on him because I was always a big fan of Snatch with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
So I was already a fan, but then I mean, you go back, I haven't seen Revolver yet, which I know is like that's his first big one. So I'm really excited to go back. But I mean, he's got stuff like Aladdin, and then The Covenant we recently just watched
Yep.
with Jake
Yep.
Gyllenhaal. That was amazing. And you just recently saw The Ministry of the Ungentlemanly Warfare that
Yeah.
you really
Fucking
liked.
really good. Yeah.
So he's been really consistent recently. I love that. But the Gentleman, like I said, there is a movie that he did, and the series is a little bit different, because in the movie, he's not a duke, but in the show, he's a duke that inherits his father's wealth. He inherits his father's land, and then he kind of just falls into the drug trade and the weed game to where he's like, okay, I'll just keep this thing going instead of, like selling it off. And I think it's interesting too because it plays with the idea of, you know, gaining that notoriety, gaining that living life on the edge. And what do you do with that opportunity? Do you keep doing that or do you try to shut it off and still be a normal person? So it's kind of like it's a social experiment type of show that you see. And I mean, the cast is absolutely amazing. Theo James from the Divergent movies is the
Mm-hmm.
lead in this thing, and he's really freaking good. But it's very funny. It's very witty. It's definitely one of those that you do have to pause and start when somebody comes in the room. But I love it, and I'm really enjoying it because Guy Ritchie's original guy, Vinnie Jones, like all the way back from Revolver, and he used to be like the biggest thing as far as like those type of UK,
Yeah. Yeah.
hitman shows or hitman movies. Um, he's getting older. He's not that leading guy anymore. He can't be. So I love that Guy Ritchie gave him this really decent, juicy supporting role. Like, hey, you're my guy. I'm sticking with you no matter what. So I really respect that because we have certain people like that who we want to continue working with in
Oh,
the
for
entertainment
sure.
industry. But it's a really good show. It's really entertaining. So yeah, The Gentleman, my number three.
And Guy Ritchie overcame, like, he started strong and then he had that horrible mishap with Madonna and,
Yeah,
like, almost killed his career, but he was able to overcome it, get back on track, and, like, because
yeah.
that was a big misstep. My number three, I'm all in on this. I'm fucking loving every week that I'm watching it. It's a Greg Berlanti series, and it combines the three things that I love. Three things that I love. Film and television, obviously, because we're in the film and television industry, and we just love that. And it's a brilliant show. It's directed brilliantly. The cast is phenomenal. The storytelling, it's just outstanding. And then the subject matter is politics and journalism. The three things I love: film, journalism, and politics. Those are my three things that I'm all in on my whole life. I'm talking about The Girls on the Bus, starring Melissa Benoist. This is fucking phenomenal. It's about journalists on the bus. As you guys know, when journalists follow the candidates wherever they go across the countries during the primaries all the way up to the election, and they that's their gig. And this is based on a true story of a woman. The creator and showrunner of this show was a journalist on the bus during the Hillary Clinton stuff back in the day. And so it's based on true stories, but fictionalized. But it's just phenomenal. The cast, and it merges like all these old type thing. Like the one is a social media influencer who just basically is like, this is who you got to go. We do news now, and they're like, she ain't a fucking real journalist, and she doesn't like them. But then they kind of get a respect for each other. And then Melissa Benoist works for the like most successful newspaper kind of a thing. And then there's one of the journalists works for like a Fox News type station, and she's the Republican. And everybody's like, you're the Republican, because she's a wealthy black woman, and they're like, you're a fucking Republican, what are you talking about, kind of. But just the dynamics and the background stories, and just like it's just phenomenal. It's so well done, and it's taking a stark look at the political landscape that we're in right now, and the transition of journalism, shying away from newspaper and print and kind of going more to clickbait, and how is that affecting what you see and don't see. So it's just a really brilliant show following everything that's kind of happening in the world today, and it's doing it in such a creative way. And then they've all got their backstories, of course, and it's just, yeah, huge fan. I would highly recommend it. And Melissa Benoist, probably the most favorite thing I've ever seen her in. She does not get enough credit of how good an actress she really is. She is unbelievable in this series. She's just, if she doesn't get an Emmy nomination, I'd be shocked. There you go. I'm just saying it. The Girls on the Bus. Check it out. It's on Max.
There it is, man. There it is. My number two goes to Fire Country, another CBS show. CBS is putting out a lot of good content
so
right
much
now, if you
stuff.
haven't been able to tell. This follows a young convict, and he joins a firefighting program looking to redeem himself and shorten his prison sentence. He and other inmates work alongside elite firefighters to extinguish massive blazes across the region. And there's so much drama. There's family drama that dives into it. But this has an amazing cast. Max Terriot, who you've probably seen in like The Pacifier and Bates Motel and a couple of different things. Jordan Calloway, who is in Black Lightning. Kevin Alejandro. Stephanie Arcila, and so many others. Billy Burke, Diane Farr. It's an amazing cast with some juicy storyline. It's so good that we actually have gone back and have started rewatching season 1.
Yeah.
Because it's just so freaking amazing.
And now Morena Baccarin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's so many freaking, I love that too. I love how they're sisters. That was so freaking
and that's
awesome.
Such great casting, because that dynamic between the two of them is fucking incredible. And she's the one, we've talked about it on this show. They're apparently talking about spinning that character off into her own show and following that sheriff's department. Yeah. I think that would be a huge move, and then you could do the crossovers every now and then, and just, dude, yeah, right there.
And freaking, Deadpool's girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Emily was like, what do I know her from? I'm like, that's Vanessa. That's Deadpool's girl.
And Gotham. She was on Gotham. That's where she met, the hubby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the OC. Awesome, they actually first met on the OC way back in the day, and he didn't give her the time of day. She thought he was a dick. Funny. Now they're married. Like, go figure, right?
A little TV Hollywood trivia
Sure.
for you guys. But yeah, Fire Country is an amazing show. It's another one that you can watch with the family. But it's one of those that it's so good. The writing is so phenomenal.
Mm.
Definitely worth jumping on. So number two for me, Fire Country.
Oh yeah, right there with you, right there with you. My number two, speaking of jumping on, I jumped on late. Everybody kept telling me how great this show was. Everybody, talked about, oh, if you're not watching this, oh, if you're not watching that. I'm talking about The Cleaning Lady with Elektra herself, Elodie Young, who played Elektra in the Daredevil series. This show is fucking intense. It's so good, and I'm so mad that the main male star died from cancer because now they're trying to have to figure out how they're navigating past that. But it's basically about a surgeon from the Philippines who comes here because her son needs a kidney transplant and she can't get it over there. And she comes here and she's not allowed to be a doctor because she can't get her medical license over here. She's undocumented and the kid is basically dying. And so she's a cleaning lady. She's working as a cleaning lady, cleaning casinos and doing all this kind of stuff. And she basically witnesses a murder. And they catch her, and they're like, the only way you're going to stay alive is if you clean up this shit, and then you're going to be my cleaner. You're going to clean up shit when I need you to clean it up. You'd love it because it's modern day gangsters. They're mafia. They're gun runners and drug runners, and they own a casino, and they're filtering the money through the casinos. FBI is after them. It all takes place in Vegas. But you've got the whole drama of what would a parent do to save her child's life. Right. And this is what she ends up doing. But the bad guy, the gangster, he's actually a good guy. And he finds out about the son and he like helps her with the son and they sort of kind of have a relationship but kind of don't have a relationship kind of a thing because he's married but he's not really. And then like it's just so much. And then she's like double in it because the FBI guy's a really good guy too, but he's fucked up. And so she's just caught between the two of them and they're both kind of using her for what they want to use her for. But, dude, it's so good. And so I binge watched the hell out of the first two seasons and now I'm on the current season. And, oh my gosh, it's so good. If you guys haven't jumped on this one, it's on Fox and then Hulu the next day. The Cleaning Lady. And again, Elodie Young. Fuck, man. Just a phenomenal actress. You could see it, little hints of it in Elektra. But this show, I don't know how she's not winning Emmys every fucking year. Like, she's amazing in this show. Just, jump on that shit. The Cleaning Lady.
Nice. Yes, for sure. For sure. Number one for me right now, it's a documentary mini series, and it is on HBO Max. I always call it HBO Max.
I know.
And it's called The Power of Film. Of course, we are filmmakers.
Yes.
And this dives deep into the art of storytelling by examining and defining principles and inner workings of the most popular and memorable American films of all time. So it's very much a character study of different people that are the main title characters of each film.
Nice.
Like, for example, the one I just watched was heroes and villains, and how, sometimes you bounce back and forth between being a hero and villain. But Howard Stubert is the host, and he is actually a professor of film and television, and he also talks about the human mind and the human reaction to certain things. So it's always an interesting character study on, characters from certain huge Hollywood films. So
sure.
It's been very awesome to watch. It's one of those that I start watching when I go to the gym. When I walk on the treadmill, I just put that on and just go through it. So it's been very awesome to start my day off that way. It's very inspiring. But yeah, man, I'm loving every second of it. You should definitely check it out after you're done. But it's only 6 episodes. But yeah, The Power of Film.
Nice. Okay. My number one, first of all, anybody who knows us for a long period of time, I talk about it all the time. I'm huge into the Japanese culture. It's on my bucket list of places to go and things to do. I have a sword collection. I'm just really into the culture, and especially ancient Japan, old school. And I was skeptical. We talked about it on this very show when we announced that they were doing this. I said, The miniseries back in the day with Richard Chamberlain was so good. Do you want to touch this? I don't think it's a good idea. I was wrong. I was wrong. This show, Shogun, is one of the best television shows I have seen in the last 30 or 40 years. It is absolutely phenomenal. So far exceeds the original miniseries, just blows it out of the water. I liken it to The Last Samurai in the fact of how authentic it is. The production design on this is fucking incredible. It's you'd think you were just there in Imperial Japan. Like it's so beautiful. And the star of it is like he's classic bad guy. You've seen him in all kinds of bad guy roles as the bad Oriental guy, blah blah blah. But his condition was it has to be authentic. We're not going to dub it. We're not going to talk English. We fucking talk Japanese. And the costumes have to be authentic and how they. It's so incredible, and it's of course about this guy Toranaga who eventually becomes shogun and takes over the run of Japan. And it's in a battle between tribes and families and who's gonna, and it's so well done as far as the writing, the direction, the acting, the production design, the detail of which they told every episode. It's just, I have never been so happy to be wrong about something. This thing just blew me out of the water. If you have any interest at all in Japan or that culture, or just you love a good story with great fucking storytelling and beautiful visuals, this is it. You got to dive on this. Every week it was so pretty to watch. Even when they're fucking slashing heads and it's all bloody, it's beautiful to look at. And I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah, my number one, Shogun. And I hate that it ended. It's over. I watched it all. And they had the series finale. And I'm just like, fuck. Because it's so good. Anyway. And it's on Hulu, funny. Guys. It's on Hulu. So check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, what shows are you watching right now? Be sure to comment below in the YouTube comment section, the podcast section, or of course, be sure to add us on Threads or X at JLoganAustin and at Crazy Ant CEO. We love the fan interaction. It's always fun to get your guys' opinions and things like that.